We've got another earnings alert to hit. Costco's on the move on its results. Let's get to Courtney Reagan with the details. Court.
Hi, Melissa. So it takes a lot to move the consumer staple stock. Even good reports don't often do it. And remember, Costco still releases monthly sales, so the street gets a pretty good idea for the quarter as it proceeds. Shares are higher by about 0.7% right now. Still, total revenues came in higher than expected. Earnings beat by a decent margin, and total comps grew more than 15% in the fourth quarter, with e-commerce up more than 11%. Jewelry was strong. The wholesaler even, quote, sold a couple rings in the $100,000 range, according to the CFO. Home furnishings, pharmacy, sporting goods, electronics, those were all categories that were also strong. And then on the call, CFO Richard Galanti did talk about the ongoing supply chain challenges and delays and the higher costs from both materials as well as containers and freight. He said he estimated inflation overall between 3.5% and 4.5% range. That's up from 1 to 1.5% in March and up from 2.5% to 3.5% in May. Price increases include either Costco or vendors paying 2 to 6 times more for containers right now. Costco says it's chartered 3 ocean vessels for next year and leased several thousand containers to transport goods from Asia to the U.S. and Canada on those vessels. By category inflation, Galanti provided some information here, some color. He said paper pulp is up to 4 to 8%. Plastics and resin increases on items like pet products, trash bags, plastic plates, those are up 5 to 11%. 3 to 10% increases on certain apparel items. And then oil, coffee, nuts, those costs remain at 5-year highs. Fresh food inflation is mid to high single digits. So a lot of color there, but investors not dissuaded here. As you can see, shares are slightly higher, which is pretty much usually as good as it gets for a report out of Costco. Melissa?
Those are all things in everybody's pantry, Courtney. And so I'm wondering, have they passed on price increases to combat things like a 4 to 8% increase in paper and pulp prices?
Right. So Galanti sort of says, look, we want to be the last people to raise those price increases, and we want to be the first ones to cut the prices when we're able to. But we still have to make thoughtful choices about the business. So I think that is his way of saying, yes, some price increases are being passed on, but we're doing our best to mitigate the cost, which is why I think that they decided to charter their own vessels for next year and sort of take matters into their own hands when it comes to costs and potential delays.
All right, Court, thanks. Courtney Reagan on Costco.
Thanks.
Guy, there are a couple things in there that caught my attention. That is a notion that Costco itself will bear the brunt of those price increases where it can, which means the consumer won't feel that inflation, which is good news, presumably, although that is a weight on margins. The other thing is that he would look to roll back price increases when they can, which is not something you assume at all.
Yeah, they're saying all the right things. I'll tell you, you didn't see it this quarter in terms of operating margins because they came in at 3.63%, which was better than the street was looking for. So for a quarter at least, they didn't pass them on. But we will see. I'll take them at their word. This comes down to the same thing we've talked about seemingly all show. Are you comfortable with the valuation? Currently trading 38 times next year's numbers. I will say for a property like this, I am, because memberships don't go away. That's a huge recurring revenue stream, and they operate their business really well. And Pete can speak to it because he spends hours there on the weekends. I mean, he'll stroll through those aisles like he's running for governor, which he may be doing, by the way. So I stay with Costco here.
I think a lot of people think he was governor when he's strolling through the Costco aisles. Pete, how do you like the stock?
I like the stock. Yes, it does feel incredibly stretched, but that has not stopped this stock at all. As a matter of fact, it was down at 317 back in March. And take a look at it now. It's 455. I mean, this is an amazing company. They pass along things when they can. I will say this. I think they will raise those prices to make up for some of this. Now, the real question is, will they be of their word and cut those prices back down? I'm not so sure about that.